Hello, everyone, and welcome to the August 31st edition of the SIG Network meeting. As usual, this meeting is governed under the Kubernetes Code of Conduct, which basically boils down to be nice to one another, so please do be nice to one another. We ask that if you have something to say, please do use the raise hand feature in Zoom anytime you want to interject or ask questions. I see possibly some new faces, so I'll give a couple seconds if anybody wants to introduce themselves and say, hey, or just why you're here, or even just kind of, hello, that's fine. We'll give a couple seconds for that, and then we'll get started on a really light agenda. So this might be a short meeting. Hello, Ram. Ram says hello. In chat. So because it's a light agenda, do feel free to put something on it in the meantime here. I'll start sharing the window. All right, can you see the agenda? I'll blow it up a little bit. All right, so we have triage, and then I just have one little bit. Again, if you want to add something at the end of that, please do feel free. Otherwise, we can make it a short meeting. So for triage, I wanted to start with the stuff that's unassigned or inactive, and I found these two, which is actually an unusually low amount. If anybody has any particular issues you'd like to throw into triage, do link them in the doc. Be happy to look at specific ones maybe that are assigned or getting stuck or something. So load balancer source ranges do not work in Windows. Yeah, I saw this one. Pod sitter should be added. Block Windows pod access. Block Windows access load balancer pod is not added. Okay. And it looks like last we saw James was trying to get Jay in here and a couple others that might be able to do this. I actually don't really know who the right people for Windows are. Jay seems like a potential one. What's that?
James is the SIG Windows, please.
This James? The one that's already in there?
Yeah, member of Kubernetes SIG Windows leads is the SIG. So Jay and him usually triage this thing.
Guess we can just add them in. Is that what you were saying to do?
No. What I'm saying is that he is already the person that has to triage this.
Okay. All right. Then I guess we'll, I'm wondering what exactly he's looking for from SIG Network. But I mean, obviously I'm not really wondering that, but okay. I guess I'll just kind of follow up on this one then. I haven't seen a whole lot of Windows stuff come through.
So I mean, this is definitely an issue in the Win kernel proxy backend. So we sort of own that, but mostly leave it to the Windows people to actually maintain. So.
Okay. I'll follow up on that one then. And then the only other one that I saw that was unassigned was removing, Win kernel again. Okay, I didn't. Removing the dependency of HNS and Win kernel coup proxy test by replacing with mock calls. Current tests in Win kernel coup proxy are dependent on Windows HNS environment. A lot of this is Greek to me. The tests expect HNS to be present and are executed. There's no environment. Okay, so just two Windows issues that basically need picking up by people who do Windows.
Yeah, this Prince Pereira is the one that is working on the Q proxy. So they are the right people.
Okay. All right. Then I don't think, unless anybody else wants to focus on any specific ones, all the other ones look like they were in progress. I only have one item, and then go ahead.
Oh, we only had 2 bugs. Okay. That's great.
Okay. Yeah. Do you have anything to add?
No.
Okay.
Surprise.
Yep. So the only thing I had to bring up today was this document, which I shared before. Just want to share it again for anybody who hasn't seen it. But basically, it used to be subproject leadership. We're calling it subproject ownership. Tim has taken a big, long kind of review of this, and we've made quite a few changes. Thank you for everybody who has shared feedback. I think there's a few kind of bigger questions, but I think ultimately we're getting close to kind of documenting this as something close to what we want for the SIG going forward. I think the major effect that this is intended to have right now is to kind of reinforce that we want to recognize people for their kind of community building and project management skills, in addition to the historical technical skills. So all three of those we'll just kind of have more of an emphasis together going forward. If you have any more comments and stuff on this, I linked it in the notes, but basically this document is open for some more comments. I imagine it'll be after KubeCon before we go much further with it. So
does the doc include a list of what we consider to be our sub projects? Because the definition is pretty broad.
it doesn't include a list, but it does now reflect that some are big, some are small, and some of them have different like for instance, some of them might be small enough that they don't really need certain things. Like they don't need a whole lot of community build up or project outreach. We have made those kind of reflections. We could list them though. That'd be fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I think of, for example, too, that I'm involved in, like I could say that there's, for example, things related to endpoint slices, service discovery, whatever you want to call it, that category of things is really small and stable and almost nothing is changing. But it could technically be called a sub project based on the categorization I see here.
DNS
But
could
then,
too, and DNS could
right,
follow in a similar,
right.
and yet it's not really, nothing's happening there. So
Yeah, and then also I would say Gateway is also obviously a sub project, but it's operating at a different kind of scale or momentum right now, at least. So it's trying to understand like what similarities there are between those and what differences, I guess.
yeah, I'll take that as maybe it would be good to look at having classifications for sub projects. Don't want to overthink it either, but it's a fair
I feel like
point.
there are really two completely different things that like there's just no good way to try to squash them into one bigger thing.
Yeah. You want to expand on that some?
Well, just that the being clueful about stuff in the tree is very different from running a project that has its own meetings and sub goals and sub leaders and I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to, because like there, Kubernetes org already has a term called sub project that traditionally has meant, a different repo with different leadership, with sub leadership, etc. And this, I think, is extending the term sub project to mean more than that, I think, in SIG Network, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It just would be good to understand the difference between what it means in like organization wide, I guess, and what the differences are here.
Does my note about classifications kind of help to cover that, like actually classifying these different types and the different potential rules?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's still kind of an open question. That's why it's still in a Google Doc and not in a PR yet, because it's still, there's a little bit of this that still feels a little nebulous, but the spirit behind it is to try to grow the community, even for in-tree things. Maybe especially in some cases. But
well, and I think
it doesn't have to mean 20 people show up, but growing it and helping to keep it cultivated over time.
No, and I think it's really useful to kind of, write down. I think some of us who have been involved in SIG Network for a while have an understanding of who the experts are in different areas, right? But that's not obvious to many people. And I think it's very helpful to formalize that and say, actually, this person is effectively leading this area or set of people. So I think that is a really good goal. I think what I'm getting a little stuck on is overloading the term sub project because how we're using it is a slightly different meaning than how it's used elsewhere in the community.
And being the person who knows about endpoint slices is very different from running the gateway project, right? Like sub project, or
Yeah.
you know, in my case, like, you know, we've talked about, you know, I'm the kube proxy guy, but I don't want to run kube proxy as a project where I'm like recruiting people and you know, leading meetings and stuff like that. I just want to, you know, fix kube proxy, and that's very different than starting a sub project.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great summary.
Yeah, and it makes sense. We don't want to try to push anybody to do anything they don't want to do either. That's not the goal here. So that's why I continue to try to gather feedback, and this has been a slow roll because I probably just piss people off if I tried to push it too fast, right? We got to get it kind of right for everybody. This is one of those situations where we kind of got to get everybody's input included and captured, because we don't want anybody to feel like they're getting railroaded by it for sure. But yeah, thank you for that feedback. I got it all commented here. I'll continue to think about that and continue to update this doc. Anybody else who hasn't seen the doc or just has some more thoughts now, please do go to that doc. It should be available to anybody to at least suggest and comment. Would appreciate more, but not trying to go fast with it again because it's needs to be done right. And that's it for today. Unless anybody has any last minute things, this can be a really, really short one, maybe the shortest one in a long time. So give a couple seconds and then we can decide.
Well, remember, kept time is starting.
Yeah, that's the KEP freeze is around 1 month away. I think it's October 5. It's like the first week of October, anyways.
Did they publish the schedule?
They just
release people.
Yeah, they just published the schedule yesterday.
Oh, I didn't know. Can you link it to?
Yeah, I'll add to the agenda. But yeah, good reminder. It's coming up awfully quick.
Yep, good call.
And even Code Freeze is pre-KubeCon this time, so there's less than a month between KEP Freeze and Code Freeze this time. So it's a pretty quick schedule this time.
When is coming Code Freeze?
I want to say November 1. But yeah.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Okay.
Kind of in line with that, we have a bunch of what we're calling NPEPs in the Network Policy API subgroup that are kind of up for review right now. Not as time box, obviously, as these KEPs, but you can find them there. And if you're interested about some of the new features coming, please go check them out. We're looking for more review from everyone. So, and if you want to hear more, our meetings.
I subscribe to a few of them and we'll start taking a look. I'll never stop loving NPEP. Like just the name NPEP, I love it. It's
the best we
awkward,
could do.
it's awkward, but in such a good way. It's growing on me a lot.
At least when it's not called PEP anymore and that's policy enforcement point, I'm happy. I was so confused the first time I saw it.
So in which state is Andrew? Now that you mentioned the admin network policy, you released it. I think I talked with Surya last week or 2 weeks ago. You released it 1 or 2 times already, right?
We've released like one major release, then a patch release. But we're trying to get some of these enhancement proposals done before releasing 0.2. We've released 0.1.
And what times are you having? I mean, when do you expect to have the? So you're asking for reviews. So when is the deadline for the reviews in the MPEPs?
We have no
We
deadline.
have many PEPs.
We have no deadlines, and maybe that's like a good thing to actually do. Like in our NPEP process right now, we've tried to keep it like really lightweight. And we understand people are kind of in and out, so we haven't put any deadlines on them. Like I've just been shepherding them along manually, but maybe that's something we should start doing from now on. Our like rough goal is pushing towards beta essentially for admin network policy. So maybe I need to put a deadline on that. We haven't formed one as a community yet.
Yeah, I say this because, if you don't put the line, people, if you say, oh, we want to release in December or something, that may trigger some people to say, oh, I need to prepare for December.
Yeah, we're still really small, and thankfully we actually have some talks at KubeCon coming up. So I'm really hoping that we get some more voices and more help after that, which is why I haven't been quick to push deadlines, because our core group of 3 or 4 are all going to +1, but like it'd be great if we could get some more folks from wider SIGNet giving reviews and looks, so that we don't come out with this API that all you all are like, well, where did that come from?
Yeah, I say run deadline. Maybe you should put some kind of roadmap, right? It's tentatively we want to release in May or whatever this new version. Or
it's a good point. I will for sure. I'll work on some sort of a roadmap.
Because if it's you never know, and I know people can be interested in. I'm unfortunately triple book, but
No, totally. Yeah, no worries. I like that idea. I'll talk to everyone and see if we can get some sort of roadmap, especially leading up to KubeCon. I think it'll be important.
yeah. Well,
I just linked some of the open ones that you got, Andrew, in case people want to kind of take a peek in there.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys for all your work on network policy. All right, shall we adjourn?
Works for me.
Thank you, everyone. Until next time, have a good one.
Take care. Bye.
bye.
All right.
Cheers.